Hey everybody, welcome to Didi and Nick's F1 Chat video number 2. This one we're going to do a review of Saudi qualifying, Jeddah qualifying. And Nick, do you want to start off?
Well, the first question we have is how will Max and Leclerc catch up? Obviously, Max having a drive shaft error and Leclerc having
Drive shaft error? Drive shaft failure.
Yeah. And Leclerc having a 10-place grid penalty for his third control electronics of the season.
Yeah, already 3, not looking good. It's supposed to be new times for Ferrari, still not looking too good really, is it?
So how will they catch?
Do you want to comment, Nick?
I'm not sure Leclerc will catch up. I think Max has a good chance of winning because he's won from 14th on the grid, I think, last season. And also, that Red Bull is looking very fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nick's right. I think Max has got a great chance of catching up. This is a circuit, especially the final 2 sectors, where you've got a lot of, top speed straights
And
or
also
high speed areas.
And also 27 corners, most of them are fast, high-speed corners. Most corners on the whole counter.
Yeah. Most of the corners I think are in the first sector or
no, I
sector
think
1 and
last
2.
sector.
Okay, well maybe 1 or 2. There's 2 corners in sector 2, but the final part, the track is pretty much flat out, right? So Max, we've seen, by the way, that the Red Bull has got comfortably the highest top speed. So I think the speed tracks were showing something like 10 kilometers an hour speed advantage over the Aston Martin, who's in second, and we'll come to Aston Martin in a minute. So yeah, it's a track that favours high speed, so I think good chance for Max to catch up. Max is Max, come on.
And also Perez,
certainly going to make some progress.
Perez's second pole position of the season. No, not of the season, at this track.
Yeah, let's come on to Checo. I mean, I think he's done a good job. A lot of people say he's obviously in the best car. Wasn't a given today. Wasn't a given that he would get second. Nick and I were talking about it, and I really fancied Fernando. I thought he was.
I said it was going to be Perez.
You said it was going to be Perez, but I really fancied Fernando today. I just thought, his talent might make that difference today, considering that the Aston Martin is at least kind of in the ballpark with the Red Bull. But no, fair play to Checo. He pulled it out, and Max had his mechanical issue. So it wasn't a given that Checo would get second today. So I think that's a really good performance from Checo.
And also, Sergio Perez said he really liked the middle sector before the race, and then he did that absolutely astounding middle sector that nobody could catch.
It was quite
everybody was 6-7 tenths behind on that middle sector.
Yeah, no, it was an impressive lap from Checo. So I think well-deserved pole position. Next in qualifying, at least, was Charles Leclerc. Impressive again watching Charles handle this track. He's going to start in 12th, is it, Nick?
Yeah, because he had a 10th.
Because of his grid pace penalty, but wringing the neck of the Ferrari through most of the lap. So again, great drive from Charles. Impressive stuff watching him handle the car through the track.
Sainz got 5th, I think.
Yeah, Sainz did a decent job again. Charles just edging it in the Ferrari setup. Do you want to say anything else about Ferrari?
No, I think that's really it. But
so next up then, Aston Martin. You want to do McLaren next?
Yeah, because I think Oscar Piastri did a great job today.
Oscar, respect. Yeah.
Qualified 10th, but he's going to start 9th because of Leclerc.
Yeah, I mean, in our first video, we talked about the 3 new drivers. We talked about Piastri, Sargent and De Vries. We didn't see that much from them in the first race, but race 2 now, we're only in quali. And I think already we can see Piastri, wow, he's quick, right? I mean, Lando Norris had a bit of a mistake in quali 1, so damaged the car, didn't make it into quali 2. Was that a bit of pressure maybe from Piastri? Piastri's speed? Piastri certainly showed his speed today, so I think he might have been under... My feeling is that Lando... It's a bit of a challenge for Lando having Piastri there. Somehow Daniel Ricciardo never really got to grips with the McLaren. Maybe Piastri is getting into grips with it a bit. So I said early stages, but Nick, what do you think?
I think Piastri is a fast driver, but if you look at Bahrain,
yeah,
I think he was behind Norris. Got eliminated in Q1. I think Norris got to Q2.
Yeah.
And
Norris is the more experienced driver there, right? So I mean, Oscar's doing a great job, especially today. Fantastic job from Oscar. Who's the next team we're going to look at?
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin. So yeah, go on.
Alonso in
Fernando.
In 3rd. Yeah, he's going to start 2nd though. And Stroll.
Where did Stroll finish up? 5th,
I think it was Alonso. It was Alonso, then Russell, then Stroll. So yeah. I think 5th.
Yeah. So I mean, again, Alonso. We all know how good Alonso is. We all know how good Fernando is. Very good performance from him today. What was interesting for me is final sector, which
Stroll got 7th because Sainz was 5th.
Okay, but in any case, obviously Fernando's just that bit quicker. So of the 2 Aston Martin drivers, so yeah, for me, surprising is it? But I mean, the Aston Martin clearly doesn't have the top line, the top speed that the Red Bull has. But first sector particularly from Fernando, amazing stuff. So that Aston Martin, particularly from a downforce, maybe aerodynamic side, is looking really good. Seems to be where they've made most of their progress, got most of the advantage. And you know, Fernando made it count. So yeah, should be interesting. Going to be very interesting to see him going up against Checo tomorrow in the first sector, because if he can get in front of Checo off the line, Fernando's, as we all know, brilliant starter, brilliant racer. So I would say, Nick, what do you think? But in that first, if he can get in front of him on lap 1, we could have some race in our hands, right? Hold him up a bit, keep him behind him a little bit. No DRS for the first couple of laps, is it? So
first 3 laps.
First 3 laps, maybe. So yeah, going to be interesting stuff, especially if he gets in front.
Yeah, and now we should move on to Williams.
Williams, yeah. John Sargent? No,
Logan Sargent.
Logan Sargent. Where have I got John Sargent from? I don't know. Maybe he's an actor, is he? John Sargent?
No.
Logan Sargent. But I like the name of it.
American.
Good. American, yeah. By the way, I have to say, Logan Sargent,
because how can you can't go wide at
talking
the
about
last
the final
corner.
turn now, right?
Yeah, the last corner.
Yeah.
So just because he put one wheel over the pit line, doesn't mean it's track limits. Honestly,
yeah, I mean, it does mean it's
supposed to be
limits.
4 wheels.
Yeah. It does mean it's track limits, but I have to say, I agree with Nick. It's a bit of nonsense, really, to be honest. He wasn't the only driver who did it.
Albon, I think, finished 18th after that.
Wasn't the only driver who did it. I think also Lewis did it at one point as well. But, you know, Sargent would have been in Q2 if it hadn't been for that,
if
right?
Not,
what was he did a 129 or something?
I think he did a 129 flat, and the elimination time was 129.5.
So massively unlucky, in my opinion, to be eliminated for putting a wheel over the entrance to the pit lane. I don't think he even gained him any time. I think he was a bit gobsmacked. The team was a bit gobsmacked that he'd been eliminated for that.
because on the radio the team said you have your time has been deleted for track limits at turn 18.
Track limits in the final corner.
Logan,
how do you go wide
Logan
there?
Sargent just said, like, how can you get track limits on turn 27, the last corner?
Nonsense. But there you go. Rules are rules. We have to accept it. What's the next team we're going to look at? So
Mercedes.
Massively unlucky for Sargent. But having said that, of the 3 new drivers, we can compliment Sargent. We can certainly compliment Sargent. We can definitely compliment Oscar Piastri. Right?
And if you remember when De Vries filled in at Williams, last year, he scored 2 points, I think.
Yeah, so they're all good drivers. We know they're good drivers, but they've still got to produce it, on the track. But so far we're seeing certainly 2 of them, definitely one of them today, producing it on the track. Let's go on to Mercedes. Not my biggest topic, one of the biggest topics, I think. First of all, before we talk about Lewis, George Russell, Mr. Saturday, unbelievable today. He got the most out of that car, has to be said. I don't think anybody could have got much more out of that car.
He finished 4th place. 5th was Sainz then.
Yeah, so he's going to start 3rd. So he's on the 2nd row of the grid. Great position to get himself up into the fight, perhaps with Checo and Fernando. So obviously, brilliant job from George. Seems to be able to get, certainly in this race, I don't think it was so much in the first race, but certainly in quali for this race, seems to have been able to get more out of the Mercedes than Lewis. And that brings me to what concerns me, because I don't think we've ever seen anything like this from Lewis before. I mean, because
even on his first race, he went round the outside at Australia, the outside of Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
Like, how do you have the courage to go around the outside of your teammate when your teammate is Fernando Alonso at the time, even? Like,
who are you talking about now, Lewis?
Yeah.
In which race?
In his first ever race.
Oh, you're talking about 2007, 2008, whenever it was, right? Yeah.
6th.
Yeah. But I mean, look, the talent of Lewis Hamilton has been shown multiple times. I think he's got the quality record. He's joint, number of world championships. That doesn't happen because of luck. That happens in the main because of talent, right? So, but to be honest, it's worrying to see that it's a car that's not performing like it could. He says the car doesn't feel confident with the car. But look, George has got more out of it certainly in this quali, and arguably in some other races this year and maybe even last year with the same concepts of car. A little bit worrying for me to see that. Is it a motivation thing starting to creep in a bit? 1 or 2 noises from Toto about if Lewis maybe is looking for another team or might look for another team.
I don't think so.
Lewis, on the other hand, is saying he's committed to Mercedes. I think there's a bit going on there. For me, Lewis today. Okay, we can all have a bad performance. That was one of the worst qualification performances I think I've seen from him for a while. Way off his teammate. Didn't seem happy with the car. If you look at Sector 1, which is where the main aerodynamic performance is probably required, really poor. He was way down on everybody, but particularly down on his teammates. So a little bit concerning, I would say. Let's see what happens in the race tomorrow, but a little bit concerning for me, that one, and a bit of a question mark for the first time, I'd say, probably in his Formula 1 career against Lewis, to be honest. Only one event, only one qualification, not even the race yet. So, anything else you want to comment on, Nick?
No, not really.
Okay, so that's it, guys. Big high five, Nick. Okay. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow after the race to give you our review of the 2023 Jeddah Grand Prix, Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. See you all tomorrow, guys. Take it easy. See you then. Bye. Ciao.